Looking forward to the quarters are on the way, and we've got the squad ready to go. We got Heather, we got Paul, we got Greg McElroy, we got burning questions on all of these games. And Greg, I want to start, I don't know, maybe I'm particularly interested in a quarterback who might get drafted very high this year. No particular reason why that might be. Fernando Mendoza, you've got some tape. What does the Indiana quarterback need to show NFL teams in this game against Bama?
Well, it starts with deep ball accuracy. It's 3rd and 2. I mean, ask the DBs in the room. How many quarterbacks are throwing this ball on 3rd and 2? All right, yeah, I'll just throw it 56 yards downfield. Perfect strike. The deep ball accuracy is unreal, especially when you take into account the squat coverage you're going to get on 3rd and short situations. How about the clutch factor? You like 2-minute drills, Greeny? Does that do something for you? How about a sack on 1st and 10, sets up 7 and 17? No problem. Drops back, throws a back shoulder seam to hold up the wide receiver. That way the receiver doesn't get his clock cleaned by throwing it up the field. He holds him up. Then a little later, trying to put a comeback together, down 4. Gotta have it situation. They're bringing all out pressure, cover 0, no problem. But pressure, cover 0 comes with inside leverage. He's got an in-breaking route. That's impossible. And yet he buys enough time, drifts back, throws a little fadeaway jumper right underneath the goal post, which is exactly where you're supposed to throw it to allow Omar Cooper to go up and get it. Clutch and deep ball accuracy, great understanding of protection, and tremendous poise that's always on display when you're watching the terrific Heisman Trophy winner, Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah, that last play was the one that almost broke my friend Gus Johnson. Gus almost broke on that play. And one of the, really, as he said, give him the Heisman Trophy right now, and he won the Heisman Trophy in large part because of that. How about it, Heather? Obviously, I mean, the game on the field is of critical importance to, I don't know, someone who went to Indiana, I don't know, in ways like that. But there are also the NFL ramifications, all of this. How about the Heisman Trophy winner up against the Crimson Tide?
Well, for all of the things that Greg mentions, why he got my Heisman vote, and he is the total package. And I don't think anything that happens in this game should change that in the minds of NFL scouts, because he is the total package. His completion percentage is 71.5%. When you talk about that deep ball ability, he has 45 plays over 20 yards. It's remarkable. But when you take all of those things together with the intangible of character and integrity that was on full display, you have everything that an NFL scout is looking for in Fernando Mendoza.
And then, Paul, I will preface this by saying that the system is different, okay? So the matchups are different than they were a year ago in this second round based on the way it was seeded. This was a better way than it was last year. But for whatever it's worth, the teams that had the weeks off, the time off last year, did not fare well. So how about that side of it? Indiana, quote unquote, rust against Alabama that just played a big game a week ago and looked good doing it.
Greeny, if you're like me and you're trying to find a reason to convince people that Alabama is going to win, and that's what I'm going to try to do, that's where you have to rest yourself, because all the other matchups really don't favor Alabama. The odds don't favor them. But the rust could be a factor as Indiana sat back a week ago on Friday night, watched Alabama about to get blown out of Norman, Oklahoma, and then come back in every different phase. They shut down the special teams of Oklahoma, which were elite. They made pick sixes, which were fantastic. And then, of course, Ty Simpson got unleashed as well. So that's what Indiana has to worry about in their mind, or Alabama has to hope for. In terms of the schematics, it does not favor Alabama at all.
Paul, just as a quick aside, for you and I, who are a little older than the others in this conversation, but I guess for anybody who has ever followed college football, the idea that we are sitting here talking about, is there a way that Alabama can find to beat Indiana on a college football field? Is, if there's ever been any perfect illustration of the new reality of the sport that we live in, Paul, it is that question.
Greeny, I was walking in Birmingham the other day, not far from where Greg McElroy lives, and the guy yelled at me, hey, do you think we have any shot against Indiana? And I was wondering, like, what world are we in that an Alabama fan with 18, 19, I don't know, maybe they've added 20 national championships since this conversation started, would be worried about what has always been the laughingstock of college football. But Greeny, on the greatest stage in college football on Thursday in the Rose Bowl, we are going to find out.
Absolutely. I mean, Indiana, unless Bob Knight was coaching them, you didn't really think you had to take them that seriously. And now all of a sudden, here they are. Now, let's go to the quarterback on the other side. outside. Because, Greg, I may have an interest in the other quarterback in this game, and that's Ty Simpson as well. And the NFL teams will be watching him closely in this game on Thursday. What will you be watching for?
Well, Greeny, you're going to love when you watch Ty Simpson's tape. I think he's the most NFL ready of all the prospects right now. Why? Because he understands matchups. This is 2nd and 3. It's an aggressive down. This is one where you know you have 3rd and short. Take a shot. He sees the matchup. He's got a tight end working against the linebacker. He knows he's got it. The only thing he has to do is talk Halsey, who another guy you're going to love in the draft, by the way, talk him out of covering the boundary receiver. He looks him off with his eyes, gets the trajectory up and down so it's placed perfectly for a tight end who's not as good at adjusting. He also has great feel for protection and audibles. This is what quarterbacks have to do. That's how you play to be 37 years old like Matt Stafford. You don't take hits. You bring and you motion down the tight end. You see all out pressure, flat top cover 0. You protect yourself. And then when the defense gets aggressive, what should you counter with? Your own levels of aggressiveness. He can adjust the protection. He makes the audible. He fixes the protection, motions the guy in, and takes a shot downfield, places it perfectly to the outside shoulder. He's playing NFL level offense already. Yes, he's had to deal with a couple ups and downs, and the protection has always been a little bit dicey, but they haven't really been able to run the ball. He's carried them to this point. He's going to be the one that has to carry them to potential victory against Indiana, but he's capable, Greeny. I think he's going to make a clear and easy transition to the pros. I really think he's got that upside.
For those who don't know much about his story, he's been there a long time, but he's only a 1-year starter at this point. Paul, is the sense that he could go back to college if he wants? Is the sense around the program that he's going to go pro?
It is right now, but that's why the game against Oklahoma in this game is so important. I think there were some people saying that if he played poorly against Oklahoma, which would have been a continuum of the Georgia SEC championship game, he might stay. But right now, he played well. I don't think this game is going to dictate it. There's a lot behind him, including a 5-star freshman that everybody is excited about in Keelan Russell. But my guess is he's going to go.
And then there's one other factor, I guess, in this, Heather. It's worth, as the coaching cycle sort of seems to have come to an end here, the Kalen DeBoer of it all. What are the right things to say about him in this situation, Heather?
If Alabama fans haven't embraced Kalen DeBoer at this point, you guys just need to zip it. I am talking to you Alabama fans, because if you haven't bought in, maybe you should just try a different fan base, because Kalen DeBoer is an absolute gem, and you should be fortunate to still have him given this crazy coaching cycle. And everyone in college football, not just Alabama fans, needs to reset their expectations, okay? Because the Nick Saban days, the dynasty days, with the way college football is right now, it's changed. You can still win a national title, but you're going to lose football games, and you're going to lose more next year when the SEC goes to 9 league games.
What do you think of that, Paul?
I think the Finebaum audience right now is saying, Heather, you speak just like an Indiana graduate. It's a little bit different down here. Just ask McElroy. They were ready to run him out the year after he won a national championship.
Okay, I like it. It is just a little different. I have time for one more. Good. Let me get one on Ryan Day. Greg McElroy, Ryan Day is going to take over the play calling for Ohio State now going on into this playoff here with the coaching reshuffling, because the timing of all of that is completely ridiculous, but that's a separate conversation for a separate time. Do you like the idea of Ryan Day taking over the plays?
Yes, absolutely, Greeny. Ryan Day has this job because he's an elite play caller. And it appeared, based on how the offensive plan looked in the Big Ten championship game, maybe balancing 2 jobs for Brian Hartline became a little too challenging. Maybe he's out the door already to USF, so trying to coordinate a college football game plan while hiring a new staff and navigating the portal, it's nearly impossible. Like you said, the calendar's a mess. With Ryan Day, I would anticipate this offense regaining its usual punch. This year, they've been a little bit more methodical. They're 17th in scoring, but they haven't really had the same level of explosiveness. They don't put the same level of fear in the opposing defense. They kind of just grind you down. With Ryan Day, you can expect Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, their 2 outstanding wide receivers, to get a lot of shots downfield. They'll move those guys around. They'll put them in the slot. And I think this group, as a result, will become much more aggressive. So I love the move. Aggressiveness is what led them to the title last year.
Yeah, the receiving, both those guys are going to wind up being top 5 draft picks. Jeremiah Smith could wind up being number 1. How about Ohio State at this point, Paul?
Yeah, I'm not wild about it, but I don't think it's very difficult to call plays when you have the type of elite players that they do. I think they made it complicated in the Big Ten championship game. They even made it complicated last year a couple of times when Chip Kelly was there. But there's nothing complicated about the talent. So Greg's point is probably correct. I don't think it really matters when you have that enormous group of receivers and a very top flight quarterback in Julian Sayin.
Ohio State, Miami. Heather, final word.
I think it does matter a little bit. You're talking about game day operations in your biggest game of the year. You got to have your guys in the box ready. Ryan Day doesn't want his eyes down on that call sheet the whole time. You got to get your call into the quarterback. Ryan Day is a great play caller, but it's the smoothness of the operation. They got to execute it quickly.
There are so many great stories that abound as the college